Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services Digital Communications Commission. To all of you. On behalf of the Center for Development of Telematics, CDOT, the premier telecom R&D center of the Department of Telecommunications, Ministry of Communications, Government of India, I welcome you all to this 3-day National Workshop on Cryptology, NWC 20. Advancements in Cryptology for Enhancing Security and Privacy in Communication Networks. The workshop will make the participants delve into multiple dimensions of advanced cryptology amid enriching talks by eminent experts and field veterans from the government, academia, and industry. NWC 2022 aims to bring all the relevant stakeholders on a common platform to deliberate upon various contemporary themes and emerging areas in the field of cryptology, spanning cybersecurity, quantum computing, post-quantum cryptography, blockchain technology, homomorphic encryption, key management, and cryptography in telecom networks with a focus on wireless and satellite communications. CDOT seeks immense pride in hosting this prestigious national workshop on cryptology and looks forward to building fruitful associations and productive alliances with various institutes and organizations to further its research endeavors in the areas of cryptology and data security. Ladies and gentlemen, CDOT, since its inception in 1984, has always been in the forefront of cutting-edge research and innovation with the chief objective of serving every nook and cranny of the nation by building secure, robust, and resilient networks. CDOT has undertaken several initiatives towards strengthening the telecom networks with homegrown security solutions in pioneering fields like post-quantum cryptography, cyber threat analytics, and quantum key distribution. NWC 2022 will surely bring CDOT closer to the national cryptology ecosystem. Ladies and gentlemen, NWC 2022 has been made more memorable and special with the gracious presence of our chief guest, Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services, Digital Communications Commission, Government of India. We extend a very warm and hearty welcome to you, sir. We are also privileged to have the esteemed presence of Professor Bimal Roy, Founder and General Secretary, Cryptology Research Society of India. We express our sincere thanks and welcome to you, sir. We will also stay connected with the other participants of the workshop who have joined us virtually via CDOT's indigenous video conferencing platform. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a well-established tradition in CDOT to welcome our guests with the potted saplings. That symbolizes our commitment towards making our dwelling, Mother Earth, more clean and green. In sync with that green spirit, to spread awareness about environmental conservation, I would like to request Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay, Executive Director CDOT, to formally welcome our chief guest, Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services Digital Communications Commission, Government of India, with a potted sapling and a traditional Angavastram. We extend a very warm and hearty welcome to you, sir. Our guest of honor, Professor Bimal Roy, founder and General Secretary, Cryptology Research Society of India, CRSI. So may I request you to welcome Professor Bimal Roy with a potted sapling and a traditional Angavastram. We extend a very warm and hearty welcome to you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we once again extend a very warm and hearty welcome to all our guests, dignitaries, and participants. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a defining ritual in our country to invoke the blessings of the Almighty at the auspicious start of an occasion, to steer us through the path of darkness and ignorance to the whole new world of wisdom and enlightenment. May I please request Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay, Executive Director CDOT, and other CDOT Project Board members to accompany our Honorable Chief Guest and the Guest of Honor for the lamp lighting ceremony. Let us offer our prayers to the God of light to always keep us treading on the continuous path of prosperity and development. May God give us strength to surmount all hurdles that impede our path to enlightenment. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now request Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay, Executive Director CDOT, to deliver the welcome address.
Respected Member Services, Digital Communication Commission, Government of India, Dr. Mahesh Shukla ji, respected Dr. Bimal Roy, Founder and General Secretary, CRSI, my colleagues in the board, Dr. Pankaj Delela, Shikha Srivastav, speakers, participants, guests, distinguished guests, and my dear CDOTians. It's really a pleasure for me to welcome Dr. Mahesh Shukla ji, Member Services, Digital Communication Commission, who had consented to be the chief guest for this particular workshop. In fact, he had many meetings and we somehow requested, and sir, in spite of his very busy schedule, consented to come physically here. On behalf of CDOT, I extend a hearty welcome to you, sir, and thank you so much for agreeing to deliver your inaugural address. I'm sure your presence will motivate us in a big way and take this particular field, whatever work CDOT is doing, it will add a lot many dimensions to that. I also would like to welcome Dr. Bimal Roy Saab, who is the known guru in cryptology in this country, for sparing his time and agreeing to be part of this workshop. Thank you so much, sir. I welcome you on behalf of CDOT and thank you for being with us today. I would also like to welcome all the speakers who have joined us in person or online. I would also like to thank all the participants who are joining us face-to-face or who are joining us online. And also I would like to welcome all my dear friends, CDOTians, who are here for this particular seminar workshop. I'm sure that this workshop on advancement in cryptology for enhancing security and privacy in communication networks for 3 days will be a great avenue for all of us to deliberate on various technologies in the cryptology field. As you know, CDOT is working in the cryptology field in the quantum cryptology, post-quantum cryptography, quantum key generation, and this particular full, with the experts, other experts, we are definitely, this field will take a lot many advancement, and I wish this workshop a very great success. And I will cut down my, I will limit my speech because I know member services have to leave early. So so thank you so much, and I wish this workshop a great success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor to have in the midst of us Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services, Digital Communications Commission, Government of India, who has always been a source of continuous support and encouragement to CDOT's indigenous research endeavors. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir. We understand that you have limited time. You had an extremely important assignment to attend. We thank you for coming here and inaugurate the workshop. May I please request you to deliver the inaugural address?
Dear Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay Sahab, EDC DOT, Professor Vimal Roy Sahab, Shikha Ma'am, Dalila Sahab, Madhukar ji, Atul ji, all dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. ऑडिटोरियम में जोश है कि नहीं है? कहिए हाँ जोश है. नहीं बोलो जोश है. ऑडिटोरियम में जोश है कि नहीं है? पीछे नहीं है जोश अभी. I am indeed very happy to be with you in this auditorium. Such a nice place to be with you. And CDOT has a very special place in our hearts. Right from 1984, when CDOT was conceptualized and came into existence, and then when we joined, जब हम लोगों ने सर्विस ज्वाइन की, तो रूरल एक्सचेंजेस के लिए, रूरल एरियाज के लिए ऐसे एक्सचेंजेस की तलाश थी जो मिट्टी में, धूल में, गर्मी में, सर्दी में काम कर सकें, और 50 लाइनें, 40 लाइनें, क्योंकि गांव में इससे ज़्यादा डिमांड थी भी नहीं. एंड यू आर द पीपल, दिस इज द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जिसने इसको पॉसिबल बनाया है, और एक क्रांति सी आई. और आज CDOT डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ टेलीकॉम का ही नहीं बल्कि पूरे देश का प्रीमियर रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट है, कई टेक्नोलॉजी पर काम कर रहा है। और आप सबको तो पता ही है कि 1 अक्टूबर को 2022 को इंडियन मोबाइल कांग्रेस में नन अदर देन बट द प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ दिस कंट्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने CDOT की काफी प्रशंसा की। उन्होंने इस बात के लिए प्रशंसा की कि CDOT आत्मनिर्भर भारत की दिशा में काफी उल्लेखनीय काम कर रहा है। एंड इट इज ट्रू। क्या मालूम कल को हम किसी से टेक्नोलॉजी इंपोर्ट करें, डिप्लॉय करें, और वो जिसने हमें टेक्नोलॉजी दी हो वो उसका मेंटेनेंस करने से मना कर दे, वर्ल्ड वार छिड़ जाए और सपोर्ट देना बंद कर दें। तो अगर उस पर्सपेक्टिव में देखें कि अगर ऐसी इवेंचुअलिटी आई तो कम से कम देश में 4G टेक्नोलॉजी, 4G कम्युनिकेशन विल बी अवेलेबल, और उसको डेवलप करने की दिशा में आप लोग जो काम कर रहे हैं वो काफी काबिल तारीफ है। आप इसके लिए अपनी पीठ खुद भी थपथपा सकते हैं। 4G पर आपका काम, 5G पर आपका काम काफी सराहनीय है। हाईली टेक्निकल वर्क जैसे TSOC, डेवलपमेंट ऑफ 5G, क्वांटम, बहुत सारे रिसर्च एरियाज हैं जिस पे आप लोग काम कर रहे हैं। और उसी दिशा में जब आप मालूम पड़ा कि आज क्रिप्टोलॉजी के ऊपर आप लोगों ने वेबिनार रखा है, एंड देयर इज अ नेशनल वर्कशॉप ऑन क्रिप्टोलॉजी अंडर NWC 2022, it will add feather to your cap. Professor Vimal Roy is a national figure. He has been on the National Statistical Commission, और उन्होंने काफी काम किया है. He is with us. I am sure that this workshop will be a huge success, and when the speakers will talk about their minds, what is going on, what more can be done, it will be useful to all of us. And why cryptology is important? Though it is true that data protection bill is coming up in this winter session, even then, the storage of data, encrypted communication, encrypted data storage for long times without any breach, कोई हमारा डेटा निकाल ना ले, चुरा ना ले, उसको कैसे उसको इनक्रिप्ट करके रखा जाए, कैसे उसको यूज किया जाए, कैसे वो सेफ बना रहे, इसकी बहुत महती आवश्यकता है. I am sure that this workshop will throw a path to move forward. It will show what more can be done. It will show what is lacking. Maybe it will come up with some recommendations which will be taken up by the ministry for implementation. कल आप क्या मालूम पड़ा कि हमारे मंत्री जी भी आने वाले हैं. You all be ready. 9 to 12, I am told. हम लोग भी आएंगे, उनको दिखाएंगे कि CDOT क्या काम कर रहा है. एक मीटिंग में मैंने व्यक्तिगत रूप से भारत के नेशनल सिक्योरिटी एडवाइजर श्री अजीत डोभाल साहब को भी रिक्वेस्ट किया है कि सर, आपने आज हमारे लिए जो प्रोजेक्ट अप्रूव किए हैं, ये हमारे लिए बड़ी खुशी की बात है, लेकिन हमको बड़ी खुशी होगी यदि आप हमारे CDOT रिसर्च सेंटर में स्वयं चलकर देखें and he agreed. We are following up. और बड़ी जल्दी ही कल के मंत्री की विजिट के बाद आई एम क्वाइट होपफुल कि जल्दी ही हमारे राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा सलाहकार अजित डोभाल साहब भी आपके बीच में होंगे। मैं आप लोगों का अधिक समय नहीं लूंगा और क्षमा भी चाहूंगा कि मुझे थोड़ा जाना है, वापस संचार भवन पहुंचना है, कुछ मीटिंग्स है, लाइंड अप है, इंपॉर्टेंट मीटिंग्स हैं। 24 तारीख को प्रधानमंत्री जी राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा के ऊपर, सिक्योरिटी में क्या काम हो रहा है, क्या हम लोग और करना चाहते हैं, भारत में राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा का क्या सीन है, इसके ऊपर एक प्रेजेंटेशन है 24 तारीख को, उसकी तैयारी करनी है। उसका पीपीटी पहले सेक्रेटरी को दिखाना है, पहले हम लोगों को रेडी करना है। केवल टच करूंगा कि कुछ देशों ने नेशनल फायरवॉल बना रखी है, जैसे चाइना ने बना रखी है, पाकिस्तान भी बनाने का सोच रहा है, और हम लोग भी ऐसी नेशनल फायरवॉल तरीके की चीज इंडिया में लाना चाहते हैं, ताकि उस फायरवॉल के थ्रू बहुत सारा मालवेयर रिजेक्ट किया जा सके, या बहुत सारा कम्युनिकेशन फिल्टर किया जा सके, या अटैक्स को रोका जा सके। तो इस तरह के बहुत सारे काम हैं जो कि लाइंड अप हैं, लेकिन मुझे आशा है कि आप लोग पूरा दिन जब तक वर्कशॉप चलेगी इसका फायदा उठाएंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for your kind words of motivation and encouragement, and sparing a quantum of your precious time to inaugurate the National Workshop on Cryptology, despite your exceedingly busy schedule. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay, Executive Director CDOT, to formally present a token of thanks and gratitude to our chief guest, Dr. Mahesh Shukla, Member Services, Digital Communications Commission, Government of India. Thank you, sir, for your gracious presence at the workshop. I request you all to please settle down and take your respective seats. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have in the midst of us our guest of honor, Professor Bimal Roy, Founder and General Secretary, Cryptology Research Society of India, CRSI. It's a pleasure to have you here, sir. May I request you to deliver the keynote address.
First, let me thank all the organizers here and the CDOT arena. I'm really moved. The auditorium, the atmosphere. I'm surprised that I have never been here earlier. I've been so many places in Delhi or elsewhere. So I'm really, really very happy to be here. And thanks once again to the organizers to invite me to deliver the keynote address. Okay, first few minutes I'll talk about the CRSI and our activities, and then I'll go to the recent trends in cryptology, what we are heading towards. Way back in 1990s, I think in the outside government, I was a loner. From academics, I was trying to do some cryptology research and trying to encourage the student and the young faculty community to get involved in this very important area. And it grew slowly. And in year 2000, we had a very important conference in India. And now the series goes on, IndoCrypt, which was addressed by no other than Zadi Shamir, Ili Biham, the top-notch people. And then we decided, I see one of my, that old-time comrade, Rajesh Pillai, and we had many, he was very young that time, that we have decided that we have to form kind of a active group who is going to take initiative in promoting this subject, cryptology. It's going to come in a big way. And I think we formed this society, CRSI. And since then, I'm the general secretary, and I think it's high time that I get somebody else replacing me. The only constant is that the bank account is in Kolkata, so somebody from Kolkata has to be the secretary. Otherwise, so we are on the lookout for that. So we plan for three kinds of activities of this society. One is just for the students of undergraduate or maybe early postgraduate students to expose them to what is this subject all about, cryptology, security, blah, blah, blah. So this is what we call the instructional workshop. We go to some academic institutions, and from very first we decided that it will be spread over, even though it is the seed is in Kolkata or the main support is from Delhi, but we must reach out the entire Indian population. So we'll have this instructional workshop in some academic institutions, maybe some IIT, NIT, some other college, whosoever wants to host it. So we examine and we have to see that they are capable of hosting it. Capable meaning that for that workshop, there will be hundreds or 150 students will come from all over India, whether they can accommodate them. The students don't have much money to go to a hotel. So this is and that's why an academic institution is very easy because they have normally hostel. So this is one to make the younger generation enthusiastic. The next level is this national workshop where we get established speakers and we talk about what is happening in this domain. So these are basically invited talks. We sometimes do have some contributory talks, but it's more of invited talks, and we try to get the researchers, engineers, practitioners in this domain. So they should know what is going on today, because we are working for tomorrow, so we must know what is happening today. That's the whole idea of this national workshop. So typically we have it in organizations who are engaged in this kind of work. So CDAT is one of those. And then the third event is that we have this international conference, IndoCrypt, and we have it in different places. And last time in Delhi, we had in 2018. And this time, this will be held in Kolkata from December 11 to 15. If you like to attend, just go to the website and register there. And we have arranged some limited accommodation, but if you contact earlier, then we can at least provide the free accommodation there nearby the venue. And this is supposed to be the conglomeration of all the researchers internationally. So we have top-brass international speakers. In fact, whosoever you can think of in the crypto domain internationally famous, they must have had attended one of these IndoCrypts. There's no doubt about it. Think of any name, I can tell which year or which years he was there. And then we have contributed papers from all over the world. And initially when we started, I think Indian contribution was maybe 10%, 15% because we are competing. And this year, as I understand, about a third of the papers are from India. So there is a fierce competition. I think we have accepted about 31 papers this time, maybe around 10 from India. And it used to be normally 3, 4, 5. And our objective was that we come to the level of international domain. And this IndoCrypt is recognized by this international body, ISCR. So we have taken to that step. We also organize other events, like we had organized once Asia Crypt, twice. Once in Chennai, once in Bangalore. We organized first software encryption in Delhi. And I'm trying to get AsiaCrypt back to India in 2024. So we are visible in the international domain. In the international domain, anybody would know that there has been significant progress in India in this domain. So we feel proud that in 20 years or 22 years, we have come a long way, but we have actually attained a very significant position there. Now, this is about the CRSI part. And Shanji is a member of CRSI. I would like everybody to be a member of CRSI. And once you're a member, you can also propose that you want to hold one of these workshops. You can even hold InnoCrypt. We have no issue with that. So we get proposals to host InnoCrypt, host national workshop, instructional workshop. So once you are a member in a place, if you have a sufficiently many members, you can make a proposal that you want to host this event. And normally in our annual general meeting, we decide about that. And we have never said no to anybody, except that we may defer the year. Maybe the next year, this year we already tied up. And I got a proposal for next InnoCrypt in Goa. There is a Bitspilani Goa campus. So they have proposed that they would like to host InnoCrypt next year. So we'll decide when we meet in our AGM. So I would encourage all of you to become members. And you can visit the website and you can member. It's very easy. Just you pay 1,000 rupees for the lifetime. And then you have the right to attend all these workshops and this thing free of cost, no registration fee for the members. For InnoCrypt, I think you have to pay some, and not the full registration fee, but partial. So I would encourage everybody to become a member. And now we have the recent trends in cryptology. I'll talk about 2-3 areas. The first one, I was very motivated by a talk by Adish Hamir in last InnoCrypt in Jaipur. So he was talking about the interplay between machine learning and cryptography. So machine learning is a very big thing these days. We could get a person like Adish Hamir again for speaking on that. And I'll briefly talk about what he spoke. That's an eye-opener for us. First, he showed a slide that the Tesla car is driving. This is driven by AI technology, no driver. And so what it does for the machine, for the car, it's all images in the front. And the image is processed using this ML techniques to make a decision. So for example, if there is a stop sign, so the stop sign is an image. So the camera fit in that car will read that image, stop, and then this will interpret with its ML algorithm that it must stop. So the car will stop automatically. So he took that picture, stop, and the car stops once the camera looks at this stop sign. But then what he did, he is one of the great cryptanalysts also. You look at that stop sign and he will choose some, not too much, maybe 5 to 10% of the pixels and change the values. So visually, it will still look like stop sign, but the input for the Tesla's AI technology algorithm changes. It gets a new image for the original image. It's a deviation from the original one, suitably designed. It's an attack on the system. And then the Tesla's AI algorithm will read it as 45 miles per hour. And it showed that. Run this one, AI is Tesla's AI algorithm, and his distorted picture, which visually looks all right. And the Tesla AI technology understands it as a 45 miles per hour. So the car will go boom. Okay, think of the danger. So what he was emphasizing is that all these ML algorithms Now, they are not sufficiently attacked by ethical hackers. So his first advice was that no matter what AI algorithm you develop, you use, you must have a set of strong, good attackers who can attack this system and try to see that still the algorithm works perfectly. And this is not done by the AI or ML community by and large. The demonstrate is working, it's identifying the thing, that it can take an action, but this kind of attacks, and he has shown many such attacks. And he says, if you try to interpret a picture, it's very easy. Then he also developed an algorithm. He showed that no matter what picture you give, you can actually suitably choose pixels, change them. So visual effect will be nothing, but the AI will identify something very orthogonal. So this is something what is very, very important, that we must have this cryptanalytic capability to even validate these AI algorithms. They should just be passed just like that. And again, I was talking to Shekhaji, and he says, yes, we'll do in cryptanalysis. But again, I must remind all of you, because cryptanalysis is mostly the saga of failure. There is no magic for doing cryptanalysis. You simply cannot give me a cipher and just produce to me and ask me and Rajesh to decipher and give me the plan. This happens only in maybe Hollywood films, but not in reality. And in fact, what we can demonstrate very easily, I can demonstrate very easily. So if you give me any cipher, okay, there's some plain text, it was encrypted by some algorithm, some machine. So you give me any cipher text, and you tell that please decrypt it. Now what I can do, if I don't know by which machine, by which algorithm this was encrypted, if I don't know that, and normally as I understand this is not available, but then if you don't have it, then actually I can produce an algorithm, okay, but no matter, so suppose cipher is something, and I want to make my plain text to be, say I am asking Shekhaji, tomorrow morning let us meet at Connaught Place and have coffee together, and then thereafter we go for a walk in maybe in the Central Park. So I want to make this my plain text. So actually I can design an algorithm, also select a key for which this particular plain text will be encrypted to the cipher that you have given. So this is what I'm trying to tell, that this is not magic. So it's just giving a cipher text, knowing nothing else about how it has been encrypted, is not really a feasible case. Because you can't verify that if you don't know what was the machine was used for this encryption, what was the algorithm is used. So I'll give an algorithm. I say, yes, this machine was used, and this is, and you can verify. If you use this machine, this plain text, you get the cipher text. So this should be taken very seriously, that it can be done by magic. So what we have done, I remember, even knowing the model is cryptanalysis is not very simple. I remember we started my first non-academic, no, it's not non-academic, behind my teaching arena, doing a project was with SAG. So I say SAG was my first love. So they gave me a real project, some encryption model, and we could cryptanalyze it. But we knew the model completely. What we did not know, the key. So even that was not easy. I think Rajesh, it took more than a year, maybe more. So I had my best minds like Shubham, Polashak, all working on that problem. Then also it took more than a year. But we could do it. But reminded that I knew exactly what is the model being used. What is the even circuitry, what is being used for this encrypting this thing. Thereafter, there was a success by my group, my student Shubham, but he's now a colleague and more learned than me. So Shubham Moitro and his students, they have actually broken the RC4. But again, RC4, you knew the algorithm. There's no magic. So the VoIP the voice over internet, they were using the RC4 voice encryption algorithm, so they knew it. And it took he and 3 other students, 4 of them spent at least 2 years continuously to break RC4. And RC4 is now out of market. You will never see RC4 because of this our ISI groups breaking. But it took 2 years by the best of the mind, again knowing the algorithm. So unless you have some knowledge about how it is being encrypted, I think we should not feel that we should be able to cryptanalyze that. So we're scientists, we don't believe in magic. But then there are other methods. Okay, even if you don't know the algorithm, but there is something like we have got other kinds of attacks which probably is relevant to C dot, because you implement the algorithm. So when you implement into embedded software or a hardware chip or FPGA, in the implementation part, there could often be some leakage. And Anand Mohanji, he is an expert in that. All the SAC people are very expert in that. So when you implement certain, maybe the algorithm is fantastic, but when you implement it on some platform using some hardware, some software tool, there could be leakages, and that's what we call the side channel cryptanalysis. So if you give me a product, even if you don't tell me the algorithm, sometimes it's possible to find out what is going on. I remember RSA was within quote broken by this power analysis. What is meant by power analysis? So suppose some algorithm is using RSA to encrypt things. What you do, you just put a small chip on that device. Again, you need some intelligence there. How do you access that encryption hardware? Put a chip. It only records the power consumption while algorithm is running. Now the key is again a sequence of zeros and ones. And in RSA, what happens if it's a 1, you square a number. 0, don't do anything. So now, if you observe the power consumption, when you square a number, there will be some power consumption, and for 0, you do nothing, so there will be no power consumption. So you just look into the power consumption graph, you know exactly where 1 was there, where 0 was there, and the key could be recovered. So again, I don't have to really break the algorithm. So what you did? So what people did, even if it's 0, they'll put some dummy operation so that whether 1 or 0, the power graph will be very flat. So this kind of things, so there are fault analysis, there are many other things. And I think a place like C dot must have expertise. If you're designing, you must have expertise who can actually work on that and see if they can actually do any kind of side channel attacks. So these are possible, these have been demonstrated. And this is taking some loophole in or some weakness in the implementation. So this is what is my first understanding, and people have been doing. I think in India we have a large group working on the side channel analysis also. But side channel analysis is probably more likely than breaking real in algorithm. So now RC4 is replaced by something called a CHA. Now CHA is, as of today, we have been trying hard. We are not being able to get any teeth in that. Think of AES. So DES was the encryption standard of IBM and the international body, and it was broken by Adi Shamir, Eli Biham, etc. in 90s. So DES went off the market. So people started doing something like a triple DS, apply this DS 3 times. But then even that didn't seem to be that secure. So they went for an open competition, international open competition. So AES came out of the open competition. And the AES Professor Vincent Ryman was in India talking about what were the issues in designing this AES. And AES, I asked Vincent, how long do you think it will survive? He said, maybe 10, 15 years, but it's surviving for more than 20 years. Okay, so that has been a very strong algorithm, AES. What is going on in the international arena? In these days, I think CDOT must be very aware of that we have this IoT networks. So it's not that only we have the usual internet networks, we have the IoT networks. So where these nodes are very small devices. So that means it has got very minimal memory, minimal battery power. So you cannot do too much of computation. So you cannot think of raising a number to the power another large number using in an IoT device, which a usual computer can do. So IoT devices, we have to think of very afresh. Now all these things which are known in the literature, they are mostly no good for this IoT device, IoT network. How do I adapt this knowledge to IoT devices? And Data Security Council of India, we did run a competition. Rajesh, you are one of the referees, right? So we ran a competition with the students. If they could come out with a proposal of algorithms suited for these IoT devices. And there's a national competition. Mostly students participated all over India. And out of about maybe 18 or 20 submissions, we have evaluated. So from TCS, Sachin Lodha was there, from DRDO, Rajesh was there. We had referees from abroad also. So it was reviewed, and I think we have shortlisted 3 that we thought these are good. And so DSC, I think they have handed it over to BL. No, BL, they basically fabricate these things. So they could use one of this, or maybe you could tweak that. Often it's in the government domain, they believe that the algorithm should be secret. So what do we do? I think our policy is that we get proposals from the open domain, from the practitioners, academicians, and then we may tweak it a little bit to make it very private, but yet not compromising the security. So internationally, everywhere there are lots of adaptation of AES, which is not exactly AES. So they take the AES structure, AES flow of data and these things, but then replace the AES certain blocks by something else. At every stage, what you have to prove that when I replace this one, I'm not compromising my security level. So there have been hundreds of AES variations which are being adopted by several governments everywhere in the world. In fact, one of the, I think SPG, our Indian SPG, they use one version of AES for their communication thing. And they wanted to get SAC certification, but SAC told that, oh no, we don't certify these modifications. You probably talk to Professor Roy, and if he says okay, you just use it. So SAC only certifies fundamental algorithms. So they won't certify AES little modified. So SAC drove it to me and Shubhamay, and we have studied that. We got certain hiccup that way, but they have fixed it. And this is being used now. For the SPG, all the communication devices, they have a different version of AES. It's the AES, but not exactly AES. Okay, AES is this thing. So this is this kind of thing I think we have to also do if you have to really adopt for practical use. Two very important areas of research for today. People talk about blockchain, so I will touch in, and maybe there's some talk on that. But blockchain is not really a crypto material so far. What is involved there? They have a very strong hash function. And in fact, I often wonder that in most of the blockchain use cases, we don't need a blockchain because there's a heavy overhead for using blockchain. Our simple hash functions could solve the problem of that one. So why do we go for such overhead? So hash function is a very important thing, which is used for data integrity. So how do I know that my data didn't change in between? How do I know that the data is intact as it is? And these are also used in the signatures. So the hash functions are very important. Again, in the hash function domain, we used to have this SHA-2, and a Chinese lady broke SHA-2. So there have been a new competition worldwide. So now the one you get is called SHA-3, which is the algorithmic sponge. So SHA-3 is in practice, and people are already working on SHA-3, trying to find some loopholes in SHA-3. And one of my colleague was my student also. Mridul was involved with the US government in evaluating the SHA-3, because SHA-3 there are some 30, 40, 50 propositions. So what they would initially do, they will invite people from all over the world, some expert group, and they will evaluate all the proposals. So we ask for proposals for hash functions. And I think we must have a culture of that in India also. For any issue, if we want to adopt something of our own, we must go for it. Open competition, academic competition, and then whichever passes all these competition barriers and we think these are strong enough, those may be, then the second part of our effort, those could be tweaked in such a way that this becomes somewhat private, not become so public. So we should have a culture of inviting general researchers to propose algorithms in all these areas. We have started with the IoT, but IoT only we have started with the basic algorithm, nothing more. So I'm talking to DSCI that if they host it. So even implementation, we could have a competition. If CDOT or Bell or they are trying to implement some algorithm in a usable fashion, then we might ask for a implementation proposals, and we might evaluate. We may do it in conference, you may do it in a public domain, but then I think we would have this culture to actually involve this the research academic community in this area to get into any kinds of products. And after you build something, I was a member of now he has become Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Chandrachud. So I'm still member of his committee, who are trying to make sure that this court proceedings now all in digital domain, but there are lots of privacy issues. Now, when you go digital, how do I protect privacy? There is a Supreme lawyer, Rebecca John. She's very outspoken. She talks about that she mostly deals with the minor rape cases in Supreme Court. She says that Chandrachud Sahab, I don't want anybody to know the name of the victim. So how do we digitize this court proceeding, etc.? So I think she's right. So how this privacy could be protected? So I suggested Chandrachud Sahab to Mr. Justice, I think you should get some 10 students. Now, I think NIC is implementing that. So I'm in the committee, so NIC is implementing it. And that's also a government regulation, NIC. But what is NIC? NIC gets done by the vendors. NIC has no internal structure to develop such a system for digitizing the entire court proceedings all over the country, and then try to make sure that privacy is preserved. The vendors. So it will, after they complete and they give you the report before you adopt, I think you should take 2 months time, preferably summertime. You pick up some 10 best BTech third year students from IITs or NITs or some other good engineering college or universities, maybe a good mathematician also. Make a team of 10 and you put them, you give them incentive, let them try to get into the system and see if the privacy could be compromised by them. So he has accepted my suggestion. So after this complete, I think I'm going to identify some 10, 12 students of different these things, very enthusiastic, and they should try to cryptanalyze that legal digital system and see if they cannot find anything wrong, I would probably say you can go ahead. But unless you do this exercise, I'll be reluctant to. They will say this is good. They will give these proofs and that proofs and these demonstrations. But I won't be quite convinced that we are going to a safe environment. Nor does Miss Rebecca John. So she said, no, I want, and she accepted this idea very much. So this is a wonderful idea. We get some strong people. So again, if C dot is doing some development, etc., I think in the summertime, the students look for internship. So you just take some good students who are in this domain interested and put them here. You pay a very meager stipend for these interns and let them work on your system. And that's only good for developing your system. So this is a must. And so as I understand, privacy is actually a very important issue. And the next part is, so the privacy becomes issues, so does the identity management. How do we, suppose I make a phone call to Prasantji and say this is, Bimal calling. But if I remember we used to have some experts in my childhood, they could actually imitate the voice of others. I had a classmate, Hariharan, and he could imitate the voice of all the teachers. So he could just make, so that it's not Srivastav Upadhyay ji, that he's telling, Prasant ji, मैं बिमल ऐसा बोल रहा हूँ. So how would he be satisfied that this is he's not my voice? So this is what is called identity management. Now in this era of so much of digital net communication, I think this is very important, that how do I insert in the identity. And I'll end with a small story, a small game, which I tell to high school kids when they will ask, sir, what is cryptology? I go, okay, let me play a game with you. So I'll end my talk with this game. One of the students should participate with me. Give me your pen. So I have got two nieces. And I do have actually. When they were young, they were always jealous with each other. And so if I get one gift for one niece, I have to get the identical gift for the other niece. So someday maybe I told Rajesh, can you get me two identical pens? He said, okay, I'll get it. So he got two identical pens. And then if I could see, I could verify these two pens are identical. Now I assume that I'm blind. I cannot see. So I told Rajesh, I know you for a long time. You are a good boy. I trust you. I said, no. I'm a scientist. There's no question of trust here. Just to be scientifically established, proven. He says, I'll prove to you that these two are identical. So he talks about a game. So he says, okay, take these two pens in your two hands. Okay. And then, okay, so who will play the game with me? Who will play the game with me? Okay, he's playing and play. Okay. So I put these things. So Rajesh says, you put two hands in your two pens in two hands. And then you just remember how it is there. Then I take my hands at my back. And then I'm blind, but doesn't matter. I can interchange my hands, or I may not interchange my hands. And I know whether I interchange or not. My blindness doesn't stop me from knowing that what I have done with my hands. So and then I'll bring my hands again before you, and you have to tell, did I interchange my hands or not? So it was like this. Okay. Now did I interchange my hands? Yes. Did I interchange my hands? Did I interchange my hands? No, right. Okay, so I'm done with the game. Now, if I play this multiple times, what he was telling, that's what I do. And if it's always correct, what does that mean? They must be distinct, right? No. If it's always correct, if they're identical, then how would you know whether interchange my hands or not? Yeah, they're not identical. So if he tells correctly, then I'm pretty sure they're not identical. But if he does a mistake even once, because he has to just give a guess, because it's identical, so it doesn't matter whether I interchange my hands or not, it will look identical. He cannot just make a guess, and he cannot go on making right guesses times and times again. Okay, so maybe I'll play this game a certain number of times, and then but I don't have to play because if it does a mistake, even once I stop, I know that these two pens are identical. But if I go on playing it a few times, 7, 8, 10 times, and if is always correct, I know that this pen are not identical, they're distinct. So what did I achieve here? I am blind, I cannot see, I cannot even understand how does the pen look. Okay, I have no knowledge about the actual pens. But what I could establish that these two pens are identical without getting any knowledge of these two pens. So there is a big thing. It started 10 years back. It's coming up. This is called zero knowledge proof. So I claim something. And I can convince everybody that I know that without anybody knowing anything of it. Okay, so this is what is zero knowledge protocol, and this is what we are trying to use it in identity management. Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving us key insights into nuances and subtleties of various domains of cryptology and briefing us about the path-breaking initiatives of the Cryptology Research Society of India, with focus on engaging research-oriented youth and academia in creating a national cryptology framework. Thank you, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I now request Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay, Executive Director CDOT, to formally present a token of thanks and gratitude to our guest of honor, Professor Bimal Roy, Founder and General Secretary, Cryptology Research Society of India, CRSI. We thank you, sir, for coming here at the workshop and giving us insights into domains of cryptology. May I now request Ms. Shikha Srivastava, Director CDOT, for the vote of thanks.
Respected Dr. Bimal Roy, distinguished board members of CDOT, Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay and Dr. Pankaj Dalela, I'm really honored to have this opportunity to propose the vote of thanks for the inaugural session of the National Workshop on Cryptology 2022 with the theme Advancements in Cryptology for Enhancing Security and Privacy in Communication Networks. We are extremely thankful to our esteemed member services who has been so kind to grace this occasion despite a very busy schedule. His inspiring words of motivation have led to a resurgence of energy and enthusiasm amongst us all. And his vision and passion has driven the work that we are currently doing in the area of security and other solutions, other telecom solutions. We express our sincere thanks to Padma Shri awardee Dr. Bimal Roy, Professor and ex-Director ISI, Kolkata, and founder of CRSI. We thank him for finding time to come and give us this very interesting talk on cryptology, cryptanalysis, IoT security, and identity management, new areas of security which are emerging based on cryptology. We express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Rajkumar Upadhyay, CEO CDOT, for enriching the taking us to new heights through his vision and passion, and for guiding us in the conduct of this workshop. We express our gratitude to Dr. Pankaj Dalela for his presence and his guidance in this workshop. And we express our sincere thanks to senior officers of DOT, BSNL, MTNL of DRDO, and various other governments and PSUs, our armed forces, the Army, Navy, and Air Force participants who are present here today, CDOT partners, our colleagues from CDOT, all participants who have been viewing this virtually, and also those from around the world who would be delivering, and who not only the participants, also the speakers who would be delivering their talks in this two-day conference. I once again extend my heartfelt thanks to all our distinguished guests and dignitaries for their gracious presence. In the end, I would like to place on record the extraordinary efforts of each and every member of the organizing team in the smooth conduct of this session and the impending webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, we hereby conclude the inaugural session of the National Workshop on Cryptology, NWC 2022. I request all distinguished guests and dignitaries and participants of the workshop to join us for tea in the library area. Our coordinators will guide you towards the venue. I request you all to reassemble here for the technical session after 25 minutes. CDOT staff are requested to proceed towards their respective seating blocks. Thank you.